Dion, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate being called the lazy landlord because I had to actually set down the VR helmet as I'm sitting here at home in my retirement life doing all the nothing that I want to.
I love that. I love that. Well, the reason I think your discussion is important is I believe most people will look at what you've done. You earned financial freedom with 16 units. I think most people can look at that number and go, "Hey, over a decade, over 8 years, over 12 years, I could do that." And I think that is so important to have just that belief that you can get there, right? It's so hard for people not to compare their year one with your year 10 and my year 22, but they do it anyway. What do you think of all that?
So there's been a couple of shifts along the way. I've said recently, and I don't think I knew this in the beginning. Um, in the last probably 5 years, my goal has been the right amount of cash flow with the least amount of units. Right? That became kind of where I was looking at for retiring. I completely have respect for people like you, lumberjack landlord, millennial Mike, that are going to, have massive portfolios, or Mike is growing a big portfolio. And I understand the work and dedication it takes to do that. And ultimately the rewards that come from doing that. Right. That wasn't my goal. First, the first goal that I mentioned that seems to irritate people is I don't actually have the goal of creating generational wealth.
Right.
My kids will inherit millions, but I don't want them to know that. Like, I don't want them to expect it and think that their retirement depends on me passing away,
Right.
because then they might be less motivated to be successful on their own. And I want them to know that we're all in this by ourselves, and maybe you get something from your parents, maybe you don't. The best thing I want to do for my kids is not become a financial burden to them when I'm too old to work. That
Right.
was kind of my goal. And so when I say the right amount of cash flow with the least amount of units, that's the last 5 years. In the first 5 years of investing, my goals were actually smaller. I think this tracks a little bit with what you talk about in your book, One Rental at a Time. You were talking about working until retirement, but you figured if you had four rentals, your retirement would be way better than if you didn't have those assets producing
That
cash.
was that was the goal, man. I had no big vision, no big dreams. I just wanted four, and I was selfish. I just wanted a better retirement than most, and I thought four would give it to me. That was it.
Will put me in that selfish column, because I think retirement 15 years before the normal time and with more money than I know what to do with, um, is a retirement I think people might want. So when I first started, I thought if I bought a house every 2 years, because if I save a down payment for an owner occupied loan every 2 years, in 10 years, I'd have five rentals. And that was it. I figured 10 years, I'll have five. That's probably, but then the income snowball starts to kick in. And I switched to small multifamily. And yeah, in 8 years, I purchased like five properties. So I was right around track to do that, but they were five properties with 16 units.
Mhm.
And those units, because I work for, I invest for cash flow, right? And specifically, I get cash flow because I'm investing for yield, right? I talked about this in my live stream last night, really differentiating cash flow and yield. A lot of people focus on cash flow, but if you don't know how much it costs to acquire that metric doesn't really tell us much. But if you focus on yield, the cash flow will be there.
Yeah, yeah. If
And
you want to increase cash flow, folks, just pay cash. That'll increase cash flow. It'll make
well,
your yield terrible, but it'll increase cash flow.
so there's a timeline to it. And what I wanted was cash flow right around the 10-year mark. So for me, that happened by recycling the cash flow, not doing home equity lines of credits, not taking cash out refinances, not selling for a 1031. I think what you and the lumberjack did was the cash flow happened around the 15-year or 20-year mark, 10 times what mine is, because you recycled capital and you did all of those strategies to grow a bigger portfolio that ended up with more cash flow.